So what we feel is a couple of useful tools according to us which would really help you in your preparation. You can just check these tools. You can obviously find similar tools which do the same job. Vocabulary.com is a good website which is basically helping students to learn vocabulary. What you can do in this is that you can actually add words that you want to practice. So let's say you've seen 700 words in the power score. You want to add them to your vocabulary list, add them, and new words that you see in your list. So they already have the meanings with some contextual usage, etc., to some extent with similar meanings, etc. So they do 60% to 70% of the job that I was talking about, by Googling and searching, getting the meanings in Merriam, Cambridge, Webster, that dictionaries. So you can add the list, and what they'll do, they also make it like a quiz format, like how I was talking about the Magoosh app has that. So you can add your words which are in the power score and the prep scholars list as well as your ETS books. So you can have them quiz. What I strongly recommend, or why I strongly recommend you to take the quiz format, is this, that there's enough research which shows that memory based stuff always works out better through the repetition logic. That is, when you repeat things at frequent intervals, to ensure that certain things etch into your mind in the long run. Let's say I'm trying to learn a new word called word 1. I need to check this back regularly in the first 1 to 3 weeks. Let's say every 2 to 3 days I would check back at the meaning. Okay. Then after that, maybe after 4th to 6th week, I'll check it once a week. And from 8th to 10th week, I will check once in the entire 3 weeks. That's it. So this format, where the frequency with which you go back and check these words would go down drastically, and then it will be there in your mind. So this is proven technique. There's enough research which shows that this technique is what works really well for people to improve their, to make sure that something sticks to their mind for long run. So that repetition can be done using this app. That is, you make the list of these words. First, let's say you learned 100 words. So make sure that you check these 100 words twice or thrice in this first few weeks. Then the next 3-4 weeks, you don't have to check it every 2-3 days. Maybe check once the entire week. After that, you check only this, and then it will be part of your vocabulary. You don't have to worry about it. Right? So that's how you can use this vocabulary, that once you get new words, you ensure that you do this repetition part. And they help you by, making them quizzes so that you keep revising these words again and again. Then Quizlet is another app which is useful to make flashcards, right? If you, as I've been talking about preparing your own list, even if it's a prep scholars list, I would recommend you to make your own flashcards, because the prep scholars list, for example, gives you words, but they might not give you the similar synonyms, similar word synonyms, or maybe the contextual usage if you prefer to write them down. So this is the best format. You can add images, make it funny. If you have ever heard this word called mnemonics, right? This is an funny way of using some images, stories, somehow you remember stuff. Basically putting something in your memory, though it's not a logically correct one, but explaining in a story. Right, so let's say you're trying to learn a word called catalyst. That is basically, boosting up or improving something, right? Efficiency of a process, or like you're trying to do a reaction. That's how you generally hear in the chemistry. Catalyst is used to increase the, speed with which the process is done. So maybe you can talk about some cat that and it does this stuff, right? It does actually increase the speed of any process. Some funny story, though it's not funny, I agree, but some funny story you can come up and then put an image of cat so that you remember, okay, cat, catalyst, something like that. So you can do all of this with Quizlet, and you can check these flashcards in your own mobile through app or through your own web. They have everything, mobile website as well as normal app, etc. You can maintain your own account and get, as well as you can search for the GRE word lists which are already added in the Quizlet. There are quite a few word lists which are already prepared in the Quizlet. So these tools have a lot of potential if you use them properly to make your own flashcards, already use the existing work done by others. You can just search in the Quizlet through the search and you can get the list. For even vocabulary.com has its own list. But make sure that you use the list that what you've recommended. You might find other lists unless you are very confident about the list. If you are not sure, we would definitely recommend you to do this. This is like the minimum. If you're not using that long-term approach of word power made easy and preparing your own list, maybe the shortcut is doing this, these three, plus make sure that you prepare the own list from these ETS words that you come across. The new words which are not there in these 3 words, if you come across in the ETS official guide or the verbal reasoning practice book. Altogether, these are 300 questions which we are recommending you to solve for sure. This is like the minimum if you ask me. Okay, if I don't want to put a lot of effort for my GRE exam, but I just want to give a shot, what should I do? If you are really good with vocabulary, maybe you can cut away with these three things, but you should definitely do these 300 questions in these two books. That is the minimum. If you are someone who is not really good with vocab, you do these plus do these three. Right, so make your own list as well as work out these questions so that you can get a practice of the text completion, sentence equivalence, and reading comprehension, as well as get your vocabulary up and take the exam.